Hi, this is Jeff from Wunderdog Sports. Welcome to part 4 of my How to Win at Sports Betting video series. In this video, I'm going to tell you what a bankroll is and why you need one to avoid going broke. I'll explain why the house almost always wins more than it should, and the reason is not what you think. I'll help you determine one of the most important numbers in sports betting, your bet size, both average and a range. Okay. Let me start by saying, you are betting too much on each game. How can I say that without even knowing you? Because I've been doing this for 3 decades, and over that time, I have come to understand that 99% of sports bettors are simply betting too much. Think not? Think again. Would you bet 25% of your entire retirement account on a single stock that had a 45% chance of going to zero tomorrow? Of course you wouldn't. The reason is that variance can wipe you out. Then why are so many sports bettors willing to risk 10% or 20% or more of their bankroll on a single game? It's really easy to risk too much without knowing it. Let me illustrate with a simple proposition. If I offered you a 10% advantage in a game of chance, meaning that you had a 55% chance of winning versus 45% chance for me, for 500 bets, would you take that bet? I really hope you would. Over the long haul, 500 bets, the law of large numbers dictates that you would end up very close to 55% winners, 275 winners versus 225 losers. If we were betting $100 per bet, you'd end up about $5,000 in the end. Easy money. Now, let's say that I added one constraint to that proposition. What if I told you you could start with no more than $500, your bankroll in this case, and if you ran out of money, you couldn't reload. I'm going to still give you that 10% advantage. But if you ran out, then the game was over. In essence, I would be forcing you to bet 20% of your bankroll on each bet. Would you still take that bet? Still think you could take me for $5,000? You had better not. In this scenario, you are virtually guaranteed to go bankrupt. As we've discussed over the long haul, you're going to come out close to what the real advantage is, 55% winners. It's a mathematical certainty. But over the short term, you're guaranteed nothing. Strange streaks will happen. They always do. Over 500 bets, you could easily go 5 or 10 bets in a row or even more without winning. You could go 2 and 18 over the course of 20 bets, somewhere during a 500 bet session. If I forced you to bet 20% of your bankroll on each wager, you'd be crazy to do it because I would take your money like taking candy from a baby. You're gonna hit one of those bad streaks. Yet in sports betting, most bettors routinely do the equivalent of taking this stupid bet. Almost every sports bettor bets too much per game relative to the size of their bankroll. They don't think twice about laying half of their entire remaining bankroll on a few weekend NFL games. If you're ever wondering why the house wins and wins big, this is the reason. They are counting on you overbetting, which gives them an outsized chance at taking all of your money. In fact, they try to force this. You run out of money before you have a chance to let the law of large numbers work for you. I've mentioned this a couple times. What is the law of large numbers? Well, it's simply a mathematical rule that states that over many trials, your expected average outcome will occur. But over the short term, you cannot expect that to happen. The edge does not translate. The sportsbooks are banking on your lack of discipline. That's the main reason that most sports bettors lose big. They may have a slight edge or a slight disadvantage, but they lose way more than they should. Which brings me to my number 1 rule of sports betting. Don't bet too big for your bankroll size. I realize that it's very tempting to put down a lot on each game, especially when you're winning. It is relatively boring to put down a little bit on each game, but you need to work within your bankroll, whatever that is. And some of these numbers are going to shock you. Guys, there's going to be bad streaks and good streaks in sports betting. It is inevitable that if you do it for any extended period of time, do yourself the favor of allowing yourself to stay in the game. Don't miss out on that late season run of luck because you are out of the game too early. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty about bankroll and how big it should be. Your bankroll is money that you have set aside for betting on sports, and it's money that you can afford to lose. A bankroll never includes money required for food or rent or anything else that's essential for you. If you were to lose your entire bankroll, you would be okay. You wouldn't like it, but you'd be okay. This is discretionary money that you can afford to lose without a huge emotional hit. If the hit would be too big emotionally for you, then you can't afford that size of a bankroll. Your bankroll then dictates your maximum average bet size so that we can account for variance and streaks. Due to the realities of luck and variance in sports betting, it's critical that you keep your average bet size under 2% of your bankroll. If your bankroll is $10,000 and your average bet should be in the range of $100 to $150 per game. If you have $1,000 to bet and your average bet is $25, you're betting too much. If your bankroll's $500 and you bet more than $15 per game, you are betting too much. My guess is this shocks you and that you're yelling at the screen right now, indicating that betting that small won't be any fun and isn't worth it. Well, guys, I'm here just to share with you the cold, hard truth. If you feel you must bet more than that per game, then you are taking risks that will most often lead to you losing and losing big. Now, the silver lining in all this is that you control the single biggest impediment to losing. Let me say that again. Regardless of how you pick games, whether someone helps you, you have the ability to erase the single biggest reason that you may be losing right now. All you need to do is practice safe money management. Guys, in the next video, I'm going to be covering how to make picks. So, stay tuned for that.